Is that true? And could you describe them?
It was a very veteran-oriented group. Uh, they are extremely athletic. They have multiple scorers, and I think they're not only one of the best teams in our league, but one of the best teams in the country.
Tom Kakert.
And what's Domask brought to the table for them as a transfer coming in?
Well, he gives them a versatile guy. He's 2,000-point scorer. He can play the point. He can play off guard. He can guard pretty much four positions. He's like I said, he's a veteran who doesn't rattle typically, makes plays, makes winning plays, and made a difference on that team.
Elliot Clough.
Morning, Fran. I heard during the radio broadcast that you had given a bit of a challenge to Ben Krikke after the Maryland game, and obviously he responded. I just wanted to ask and see if there was any more to that, what that conversation was like, and your thoughts on his response getting 14 boards the other night.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, Ben is an awesome young guy. I mean, he's incredibly competitive, very talented. And, when I challenge somebody, I don't ever challenge them to do what they can't do. I challenge them knowing what they can do, what they're capable of. And, I told him what we needed more from him, and he responded. It's exactly what I expected to happen because of who he is.
Tyler Tashman.
Fran, I hope you're doing well. Obviously there was with Connor leaving last season, there was kind of that took a hit to the leadership a little bit, but just wondering how you've seen guys grow as leaders maybe from the start of the year, and what has impressed you in that regard.
We've spoken many times on the obvious choices to replace that leadership, and it was Tony, Peyton, and Patrick. We have a pretty mature group of guys. You look at Ben and Josh Dix and Desante Bowen, and even the freshmen, Price and Brock. These are Lodgy and Owen. They're character guys. They're motivated guys. They want to produce and they want to be good, and they're in the gym all the time, grinding and in the weight room. So they're willing to listen to those guys that have been through it before. And those three guys have done, I think, a really good job of not only communicating what's necessary, but competing at a very high level and showing the example that's necessary. So it's been fun to watch.
Back to Tom.
And you're going to end up playing Illinois twice in a short period of time. Is that a good thing? Is it weird to not get them until this late in the year? Does it help with scout? Just kind of your thoughts on it.
My thoughts are pretty basic. Whatever the schedule presents, you play the teams when they're there. There's no advantage. I don't think there's any disadvantage. As you said, it's strange. Some teams you play once, some teams you only play at home or on the road. Some teams you play twice. It is kind of strange that you play them twice at the end of the year. But, it's kind of consistent across the board. You just kind of play the teams that are there.
Elliot.
Fran, I know season obviously has its ups and downs, but one thing we've heard quite a bit from the guys during the downs was just about them sticking together. To me, the other night against Michigan, it was at Michigan State. I mean, obviously a tough environment. It just kind of appeared that the fruits of the labor there came to the surface.
Yeah, I think that's true. It's a resilient group. We've had some tough losses. We've had some really good wins. And in those wins and losses, we really had to compete. They were all pretty close games. So you have to sort of connect in a way that enables you to stay together. And then if you make some mistakes or some things don't go right, where do you go from there? Do you stay together and learn from those mistakes, or do you point fingers and blame others for those mistakes? And this has been a really mature group that hasn't done that. They've stayed together, they've stayed positive, they've come to practice and work hard, and it's a great group to be around.
Mike?
In James Media Notes, it lists your February record since in the last 5, 6, 7 years, and it's quite good. What? How do you account for that? And what's the trick of teams not wearing down or not stalling out 20-some games into a season?
I think, Mike, there's a lot of factors there. It starts with the character of the group that you have, and those teams that you're referencing. We could go through the rosters, but I mean, those teams had really good people. But the other thing is, it has to do with your strength coach, and it has to do with me and my staff. How hard do we push? Knowing and understanding, okay, you get back at 3 a.m. from Maryland, and you got Wisconsin in 2 days. We're not going to have a 3.5-hour practice. We're going to cover what we have to cover, and we're going to stretch and maybe get a lift in, get loose, lock into the game plan, and get ready to play the next game. I mean, it's a long season. We went out to California. We've had some home games. We've been on the road, and you have to endure injury and sickness. Inevitably somebody's going to get the flu. Somebody's going to have the sniffles. You just sprained ankles, and you hope it's nothing more serious than that. So, our training staff, our strength and conditioning staff, our coaching staff, and our players truly understand, what's important and how hard to push. And you got to stay healthy. If you're going to do anything in February, you need your guys.
Finish up with 3 more questions. Matt McGowan?
Hey, Coach. So Peyton and Price, they've shared some time on the court these past few games. What's the bond like between them on and off the court?
Very close, as you would expect, and you can see it. They had a great run at the high school level, and I'm thrilled to have them both, playing for us.
Tyler?
You've talked a lot about just focusing on the character of guys in the recruiting process. How do you evaluate that? Is that talking to, coaches that have been around them, interactions with them? What goes into making sure you have the guys that are the right guys that fit in the locker room?
Yeah, you get to know them, you get to know their families, you have multiple conversations with them and the people around them, and then you bring them to campus and you spend time with them, sometimes more than once, unofficially then officially. At that point, you pretty much know, what you're dealing with. And, I think we're pretty good at identifying those kinds of people that we want, not only in terms of fit on the court, style of play, skill sets that they bring to the table, but how they would fit in the locker room. And probably the best example of all that was a couple years ago when we were basically in a bubble. You better have a character group that loves each other and understands each other and remains committed to the ultimate goal. And so I'm really proud of our guys for that. And again, that's across the board, the players and the staff.
Last question, Elliot.
Fran, speaking of recruiting, I'm heading out to watch 2024 signee Cooper Koch tonight at Geneseo High School in the playoffs. What should I expect?
The thing about Coop, he really never stops moving, plays extremely hard, and he impacts the game in a variety of ways. He's a really good shooter, so a lot of times people kind of label him that way, but he's incredibly efficient. He's not a mistake guy. He rebounds the ball. He competes in traffic. He moves it. He shares it, and truly understands how to win. So we're thrilled he's going to be in the black and gold.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.